found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads.
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 13th podcast. So tonight, we're going to do something just a little bit different. We do not have Andrew, and we do not have Corey. Andrew's dying, and Corey is massive in love, and I love that. So I'm just kidding. They're just busy doing other things, doing them stuff, you know. I'm just ranting. So tonight we got Jacob, and then we have a guest, Rick Plummer. Happy to have him. He's been on the Dark Carousel. I've known him for quite some time. He is a haunt buddy. I've known him for, I don't know how long I've known you. I've known you for a bit.
At least 10 years.
Yeah, at least 10 years. But tonight, guys, this is the introduction of Haunted Alaska. And when I wouldn't say haunted when it comes to paranormal, extraterrestrial, folklore, conspiracies, and all that. So it's just not haunted. It's just paranormal and everything. Thank you so much, Creepy Confidential. So we're going to talk about everything. So this might be a 3-parter, 4-parter, 5-parter, and then on. I mean, Alaska's the biggest state in America right now. And like I was telling Jacob earlier, there's 57.2 million acres of just wilderness in Alaska. So that's massive. It's the last frontier, and here we are. We're going to sit here and talk about it. This is our opinions. This is our facts that we have found. And if we're wrong, let us know in the chat. And if we're right, let us know in the chat. And again, guys, we're the 13th podcast because it's not fun if it's not scary. So we're going to jump right into this. So Alaska was founded in, I'm not just joking. I'm not going to talk about when Alaska was founded. Alaska is just a beautiful, beautiful state. And it's a weird state. It's a very strange, I don't even know how to explain it. Alaska is just, it's beautiful. Population's 70, just a lot. Just a lot. And it's such a beautiful, lovely state. It's basically built on aviation. You're flying everywhere. There's lakes, there's mountains, there's trees, there's grass, there's snow. There's so much about Alaska, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. The tribes are crazy. The ghost stories are nuts. The folklore's amazing. The conspiracies about Alaska, the Northern Lights, it's all there. There's even 30 days or 30 nights there that we don't know what's the reason. I mean, there's reasons. I don't know the reason. Vampires. And that's something that we're going to get into with the Alaskan, I almost said Alaskan pipeline, but that's a different story. But like he said, vampires, man, that's a type of folklore. And a lot of people think that vampires are out there still. And it's very, I don't know, it's a little fucked if you tell me, So here we are. What is it?
I'd like to get a hold of some Alaskan pipeline.
I don't. If you know what it was, man, this pipeline it's very stinky.
That's not the pipeline you're talking about. They're usually attached to my body.
Slacks, Andrew is actually in the hospital right now, so hopefully he's doing okay. His health isn't really doing that well, so do some prayers and stuff to just make sure that he's doing okay. So, again, guys, this is Haunted Alaska Part 1. This is the introduction. And unfortunately, the guys ain't here with us, which is okay. Shit happens. And there he is. So, what do you guys know about Alaska?
It's fucking big.
It's funny. That's
the only thing I really know about Alaska. It's fucking big, and it has a bunch of bullshit snow. But other than that, was talking about, me and Arthur was talking earlier about how big all the forest and everything, and You can't have that much forest and not something in it that nobody can explain about.
Yeah, you can't. You know, like Bigfoot, like skinwalkers, like there's these tribes that I sent in the chat, which are absolutely terrifying. But there's not even just there's like mountain people, there's water people, there's wood people. The way they just do things, like what Jacob was saying. There's people that go in the woods that just never come back. It's like
Well,
I'm
it's kind of
sorry.
like the Appalachian Trail. It's kind of like the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah,
All those people go missing when they're just hiking, and they're experienced hikers.
yeah.
Yeah, they just come up missing, and people that live in Appalachia, they believe that there's a subgenre of humans that actually live in caves and the woods and everything. And
What's up, Cadence?
the one thing they said, that even people that live in other states that have mountainous areas, they said don't go out at night because you might disappear,
And so
either from the supernatural or just animals, period, because of outfitters and stuff like that.
yeah, and it's like when someone tells you don't go in the woods, that truly means don't go in the fucking woods. You don't do it.
Alaska's like covered in forest too, so I can only imagine how easy it is to get lost anywhere.
57.2 million acres, to be exact. That's a
Yeah.
lot of fucking wilderness.
Yeah, it's super easy to get lost.
Extremely, extremely, and that's why we live in Ohio, because we don't want to go up there. But there's reasons. A lot of people say that they, excuse me. There's a lot of people. I keep burping. There's a lot of like things up there that we don't know how to live. With us Ohioans, we wouldn't know how to adapt up in Alaska whatsoever.
I would.
What'd you say?
I would. I grew up in the woods, so
Okay, there we go.
I know how to build shelters. I know how to fish. I know how to hunt. So
Well, if we're going to Alaska, we're taking Rick with us. We're gonna start some
I just don't want
fires.
to do. I just don't want to do it in the cold.
Make me a little blanket out of bear skin.
Yeah,
I'd be set.
that'd be all right. There are a lot of grizzlies up there. But speaking of like grizzlies and stuff, a lot of people think that Alaska is like the homeland of Bigfoot for some reason. Bigfoot's been around for years. And I forget what they call it, Tanakh, or something. I don't know what they call it, but they call it something totally different up in Alaska. But a lot of people think, and a show that I've watched, and then that Andrew watched, 'cause I just watched it today. They think that Bigfoot's like a type of a demon entity in a way.
Here, I just looked at it. It's called non-Tanuk,
Non-Tanakh.
and it translates to those who steal people.
The,
I didn't see that white man.
Bigfoot rolling around with a cigarette. Hey kids, you want a cigarette?
I'm your Uber driver.
Sir, we're in the middle of the fucking woods. How the hell do you have this?
Fucking Uber driver.
Get in the fucking van. No, I'm good, dude. You stink. You smell like fucking cheese. But a lot of people think that this Bigfoot creature is like 7 to 9 feet tall, and it's been lurking around for centuries, and it's always been a story. What's up, Michael? And a lot of people just don't understand where this creature came from, and we don't. I don't think it wants us to understand. I think it does this for a reason. Now, I'm not a Bigfoot believer. I don't know if I want to be a Bigfoot believer, but the story behind it is really neat. I think it's a type of like an urban legend. Like like us Ohioans, we have the Ohio Frogman, the Germantown Wolfman. I think it's just this legend that's been captured through so many people's eyes. Some people's debunked it. Some people's made fun of it. Some, like we are. Well, I am. Some people's actually seen this creature, supposedly. And maybe back in the 80s and 70s, when technology wasn't so advanced, it was a huge, massive thing. But in today's technology, Why haven't we seen a crystal clear picture of fucking Bigfoot?
Yeah. I mean, you figure with the technology we have now, like, they have, like, thermal cameras and shit on helicopters now.
Yeah,
Like, you figure with that kind of technology, we would have found him by now.
we have
Well,
satellites.
here's the thing about it. Some of the woods are so dense that even infrared can't even get through there. And there's
Yeah.
also there's also areas of woodland and forest that are so dense that man can't even they haven't even explored it yet. So when people take a picture of it, they're only able to go into a certain amount of the forest. But
Oh, yeah.
there's some parts of the forest regions around America and other countries that look at Siberia.
Yeah,
I mean, they a lot of stuff that people that they take picture of. That's like pretty much what people consider the outskirts
yeah.
of the woods. Now, if we go even deeper and deeper and more dangerous terrain, maybe they could catch something more sustainable. But other than that, people's taking pictures of where they could just walk to.
Now, when people take these pictures, like I think that like they automatically think that it's Bigfoot, and then like how you said, that you saw a like a like yeah, like a creature in the woods in a way, like a skinwalker in a way.
Yeah.
Now, I believe in skinwalkers more than I believe in Bigfoot, because the Nahova tribe, I think that's what started the skinwalkers. I think don't quote me on that because I don't know, but that Native Americans and so on. You have like the Eskimos up in. I had the whole list of the tribes, but the only one that I could pronounce is Eskimo. But their spiritual background and their culture itself, they don't believe in our gods whatsoever. They believe in certain things that you can't control, and it's something that they've had in their life and their culture for thousands of years. So like us people, when we're talking about it, we're like, man, that's BS. But when they talk about it, there's sense behind it. There's a story behind it. There's a reason behind it. Hence why we're even talking about it. There's a reason why we're even talking about it, because somebody's seen something. Somebody's seen something. I don't know who's seen it. I don't know how far it dates back, but somebody has seen something that changed their life forever. It goes with Bigfoot. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything.
I mean, the story of Bigfoot to us, as we call it, or Sasquatch. I mean, that story's been around. That legend's been around for centuries.
So,
Numerous Native American tribes throughout, between the southern United States up into Canada, Alaska, or whatever. My take on Bigfoot is it's not really. It could be an interdimensional being, but it could also be a different type of species that lives in these regions that we can't get to. And it's not just one; it's just I want to say community.
like a
But
flock.
different tribes of different of these Sasquatches or whatever hell. I know each different tribe has a different name for them.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I don't think it's just one Bigfoot roaming thousands of miles. I think there are, if they are real, it could be different types of tribes
Yeah. Yeah, that's just
or communities or whatever you want to call it.
it's crazy. I mean, I watch these shows, and Hollywood plays a big effect in. We talked about this on the last episode. Hollywood takes a big effect on cultures, spiritual, horror movies, everything, and makes it basically in our everyday life, and that's what we believe. That's why, like, when it comes to like the paranormal and stuff, I believe in the paranormal, but I believe it in my own little way. When I watch like paranormal activities, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way that happens. But in other forms, there are ways to communicate with the beyond. Do I want to communicate with the beyond? Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I'm gonna talk to my little dog Coco, dude. I want to see what's up, man. Did you ever find that bone before you got hit by that car? You know, it's cool. It's really neat to think that there's a whole different world that somebody else lives in and that we're talking about it. I don't think about this stuff all the time. But ever since I've started doing this show, a lot of weird things have been happening to me. Coincidental things, stuff that just do not make sense on how things work. I don't question it. I just let it happen and I just do it.
I think you're just paranoid, guy.
I am so paranoid. They're fucking watching me. They have been watching me for a long time. But it goes with the fact of let's jump on Jacob's story real quick because my story.
I was about to say that. We can go ahead and jump on my story real quick.
Your story is a little bit more.
It's basically like the Bigfoot story.
Okay.
It basically ties into Alaska and all that. So basically, there was this small town. It was called Portlock. It's basically founded back in the 1700s, and it was just a little town. People, did town shit in there, or whatever they did, and yeah, it lies on the southern end of the Kenai Peninsula in the south central Alaska. If I can read, the village of Portlock was established when Captain Nathaniel Portlock of the Royal British Navy landed there in 1787. So that's how the town was basically founded. Basically, like, there started to be, like, murders that came up. Either murders or disappearance that would happen. For anybody that's listening, if you can hear my brother in the background, I sincerely apologize. He cannot handle playing video games.
It's very muffled.
Okay. But basically there started to be either murder cases or disappearances come up. And basically it would all tie down to like anyone that went into the woods like alone.
Okay.
There was this one case on a group of 3 that went into the woods on some kind of like camping trip. They encountered him, but he didn't kill them. Like, they lived to tell the tale. But others weren't as lucky. Like, there's some guy, Andrew Kamluck. He was a logger that worked alone. And one day he went back to work, went into the woods, went to chopping trees, and he didn't come home one night. So the people in that town kind of sent a search and rescue team out there. And they found him, like, where he was at, but there was blood everywhere. And, like, there was, like, a big splatter of blood, and then where that was sitting, there was, like, his body, like, 10 feet from the blood. And next to him was, like, his, like, wood equipment, but it was, like, heavily, like, dented, damaged, it was covered in blood, and his head was smashed in. And the equipment that he used, like, it was super heavy-duty equipment, like, nobody could pick it up.
Yeah.
And, somebody picked it up and smashed his face in with it. Nobody knows who did it, but, I mean,
And yeah,
they could pick up heavy equipment. It's gotta be, they called him the Hairy Man. I'm not really sure if it's the same thing as Bigfoot, but they called him the Hairy Man. And then there was...
Alright, dude. What the flip?
and then there was another case. There was a guy who went into the forest to find gold, and he went missing. He wasn't killed, but, well, not that I know of, but he went missing. Like, they sent another team out there to go look for him, and he was never found.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more cases on people that have gone either missing or got murdered, but that's the only 2 that I really dug up. And around the... Go ahead.
No, you're good. You keep going.
Okay. I was going to say, around the 1950s, everybody fled the town because, like, all the murders, they started happening more and more recently. So everybody fled the town, and there's not really much of it left, and a few abandoned buildings, and
Now,
some other
now,
stuff.
in general itself, like with a creature going around absolutely murdering these these people, well, do you think that what's up, Brooklyn? Do you think the law enforcement went out and tried to like capture this thing,
I
or
mean,
did they automatically think that it was this hairy man slash Bigfoot creature to
I'd
go?
imagine they went out there and tried to go get it. Because
What
at first, I mean, you good.
like what if it's like, you know, these people say that they seen this ginormous creature standing, and they're probably saying it's like 7-8 feet tall. You know, when a grizzly bear stands on its hind legs, dude, it's between 7 to 9 feet tall, depending on the size of the bear. I'm not saying it's just a bear itself, but for it to pick up objects that are massively huge,
Yeah.
that's questionable. But what if this creature is just a freaking giant grizzly bear? I mean, I'm not saying there are grizzlies up there. There's some massive freaking grizzlies.
There was one story I read that there was a guy that lived up in the mountains and he'd set fish traps up in the little stream right next to his house. And the story said that one day he went out there to go, get the fish from his fish traps, and it was either a hairy man or a bear. It was like holding one of the fish traps in his hand and was reaching into it with his other one. And it said hands, like he saw his hands. He didn't see paws, like they were hands.
Ooh.
So the guy went back to his cabin to go grab his gun, and he made a bit of noise, and the hairy man turned around and saw him, and then by the time he grabbed his gun and went back, he was gone.
I have kind of another theory about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or the way they're described. They're also described as the way the Neanderthals.
Yeah.
Or look. So, I mean, if you got these dead spores and everything, maybe there are different tribes of Neanderthals that are still alive.
Yeah.
But they're so deep in the woods that we can't get to. And of course, they're Neanderthals, so they've been living this. They're still prehistoric. So if they see somebody like us, they were known to either fight or flight. They hardly ever, ran. So they see somebody like us, and they had superhuman strength, and they were taller than us because of evolution. So of course, they're going to see somebody like us as a threat, and they're going to defend their home.
Yeah.
And we're going to die, and we can't scave off a damn Neanderthal.
See, now I'd never thought about that. So, and that's a pretty cool conspiracy, thinking that there are still Neanderthals out there. This goes like, are the Bigfoot and the Yeti a thing? Is it are they the same creatures, or do they come from the same bloodline? Like, what's the difference between a Yeti and other ones in the cold and ones not in the cold? And I get that, but the question is, who would win in a fight?
Yeah,
I'm rooting Bigfoot, dude, 100%, because Yeti's he's a little bitch. 100%. I don't care who you are.
Just because you said that, aren't there ones gonna break into your trailer and?
I hope not, because I don't have anything. I've got knives.
So that's another thing about it is I think where they say there's a difference between 8 and 9 foot, just like any species, there's going to be taller parts of the species, taller whatever species than each other.
Yeah.
There's going to be short, there's going to be tall. I mean, hell, we have little. I have to call it little people now, but we got little people. Midgets and dwarves and stuff like that, which I don't know, I'm not supposed to be saying, but so yeah, it's just, I think the height thing is just like a normal human. We got people that are 5 foot, we got people that are 6 foot, both male and female.
Yeah.
So I think if there is a different tribes of Neanderthal that are still alive, yeah, they could range from 8 foot, 10 foot, or whatever.
See, and that's
Yeah.
that's just interesting because it's like, again, don't go in the woods, never go in the woods. That's basically all this is saying. You mean you got these 9 foot fucking Neanderthals going out there hitting people with heavy equipment? Note to self: don't go in the fucking woods.
Just don't go to Alaska.
Just don't go. Yeah, just don't go to Alaska. And that's just a great thing. And it's not just Bigfoots, dude. And the crazy thing is, I have not, like, I don't know why it's so hard to find the paranormal aspect of Alaska. It's hard to find. Now, there's more folklore stories than paranormal stories. But I also have not dug deep enough to find a paranormal story, hence why we're doing this in different parts. Obviously, this episode is about, obviously, Bigfoot and probably extraterrestrial, which I'm probably about to be digging into here in a second. And I'm so happy Andrew's not here right now because he be dogging me because I'm talking about aliens. Well, guess what? You believe in aliens, right, Jacob?
I mean, I'm on the fence about him.
He's on the fence about it. I know he's a believer. Creepy Confidential, she's a believer. And guess who else is a believer? This motherfucker. This guy.
I have reason to believe it. I have reason to believe in it.
Tell me why. Yes, I would love to know why before I get into this story.
It's because, I'm not going to mention the names or anything, but I actually know people that work at Wright Pat Air Force Base. And two of the rocket scientists that used to work there. So I asked him one time, I was like, hey, does Wright Pat have? And he just stopped me. He goes, I cannot confirm or deny the existence of extraterrestrials or if Dayton has any there at Wright Pat. But the way he said it and the look on his face, I knew he couldn't straight out say it.
Yeah.
Not only that, is the woods across the street where I live at, the apartments, back in the 90s, me and my friends walked to the store down right by the apartments. We seen this red orb come out and hover above the woods, and it was about maybe only 100 foot above the woods.
Mm-hmm.
The lights at the store started flickering. The payphone went dead. We went out there and this thing stayed above the woods for maybe 10, 15 minutes and then shot straight up. As soon as it left, all the lights came back on. The payphone started working because a guy I went to school with was on the payphone with his girlfriend. So he had to call her back. Not only that, it's just if you've ever lived out in the country and look at stars, there's been times where I'll be looking at the stars, and one of them just shoot out of nowhere and then stop, go back to somewhere else, stop, and then move out somewhere else and stop, and then just disappear.
No,
If it's any type of government aircraft, it could be. But I just what I've seen myself and the people I've known that work in the government and stuff, that's my reason to believe.
Okay, so I've had an experience, and it's very questionable, kinda. I've seen Starlink, the satellites.
Yeah,
I've seen it before. Cool to see the lights in the sky, and which are satellites from Elon Musk. Coolest thing in the world. A lot of people do think that they are UFOs. At first, when you do see Starlink in the sky, it does look like a giant spaceship up in the sky. Creepy Confidential said, as a veteran, I have the privilege to see some fun toys. And I love that. But I've seen Starlink. I've seen it. All right.
what do you think this was?
What is it?
When my brother seen Starlink for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he thought it was. He got freaked out because he hates shit like that. He watches a movie that has anything to do with paranormal and extraterrestrial. He has to watch cartoons for the next 5 hours to get it out. And this is a man that will go into the woods at night, set up his hunting stand, but anything to do with paranormal or extraterrestrial, it freaks him the hell out. So when he sees Starlink, he almost shit himself.
And it's scary. But once you know what it is, it's still really cool to see. If you ever see it, Jacob, dude, it's really wild. But what I've seen before, I was in Hamilton, Ohio, at the Dixie Drive-In, and I think it was Dixie Drive-In. I don't know which one it is, but it's the one in Hamilton, the Drive-In. I was watching Twister.
Oh hell, that was just a crackhead catch himself on fire.
No, this is nuts. No, it's the Holiday Drive-In in Hamilton.
Yeah.
So I was watching Twister with my family. The stars are blooming, dude. They are so bright in the sky. And I remember I've seen Twister about 1,000 times. So I just decided just to look up in the sky and look at the beautiful stars. Well, I noticed this one star just cruising around. This is when the comet was in the sky. I think it was Halley's Comet. And you can barely see it with the naked eye, but you can see it from your peripherals of the comet itself. It wasn't, I mean, it was moving, but you couldn't really see it. But I remember this night. But I remember, and Steve swears up and down it was jets. This was not a fucking jet. There was two of them. I remember looking up in the sky, and I seen a star. And I just looked up, and I was like, man, that star is moving. Well, it just started going. And then another one right behind it. It caught right back up. And it stopped. And then it decided to split, come back, and both of them took the fuck off. And then it came back again, circled around, and then it, boom, vanished. Just like that. I looked at Steve. I said, did you see that? And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. You know damn well what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He swears up and down it was just. I didn't see no flames in the back. I didn't see nothing. I saw nothing but a white dot that looked like a damn star. It didn't look like no satellite. It didn't look like anything else.
You won't see the jet, the flames on the jet from that far away.
Dude, it did not look like any pattern a plane would do. This thing was doing some I mean, dude, it was shooting across the sky within seconds. It was wild. I didn't know what the hell, because it looked like a star. It looked like a big-ass star just chilling in the sky, and it did its thing, and then when it did it, like, dude, how fast it took off, how both of them just took off at the same time, dude, it was wild. And the fact of how they met, they stopped, they did a little circle, and then they part ways, came back, did it again, and then took off, dude. It was the fastest. There was a trail of how fast it took off. Wildest thing in the world. I couldn't couldn't believe
the comet
it.
was hell bop.
What is it?
The comet was hell bop. Haley's Comet was back in the 80s when I was a little shit.
I don't know what I seen, and it was weird. It was definitely something that I don't.
Probably on acid.
I was not. I was hanging out with my family, dude. I was enjoying my time with my family. I was doing no drugs. I wasn't even drinking. I don't do any of that. I'm just like, I was blown away. And I'm gonna stick to my story, man, because it was just so wild. But like, speaking of,
the only thing about that red ball that was hovering above the woods by my apartment. Now, a lot of people say that, a lot of times when they see it, the one that came over the woods, you could hear a faint hum.
Mm.
So, and like I said, it was just a faint hum, and then it was gone. It's like I said, it stayed there for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
well, speaking of the, you say orange balls, right? Or red?
Yeah. This was like, well, it kind of went from like dark orange to a blood red. It was kind of pulsating.
Well, what's cool about the red ball pulsating and stuff, in Alaska, this happened in 2019. This is a story, and I'm glad we're like slowly merging into this. In Alaska, in 2019, a man in Anchorage, Alaska. Again, guys, Alaska is an aviation state. How are you going to get to across the country? How are you going to get across there? You get on a fucking plane and you go there. If you don't have
you can't drive everywhere there because there's like 8 feet of snow in some spots.
Yeah, and you just can't do it. You can't unless you got like sled dogs or almost said sea-doos, but like snowmobiles and stuff. But you can't get on top of mountains and stuff. But in Anchorage, Alaska, they always have UFO incidents. So in 2019, a man and a wife were sitting outside, and they live on a lumber yard. As they went outside, they looked up in the sky and they saw this orange ball. Well, this orange ball formed into 2 balls. These 2 balls formed into 7 balls, about 40 feet apart, perfectly. All right, it formed like a triangle-looking thing. So when they were looking up, they were both starstruck and just looking like, "Hey, what the hell is that?" And there's no sound. There was nothing. Super bright. They said it was bright as like orange coals from a fire, just burning in the sky. And it's so freaking bright. And then in Anchorage, that is right next to a military base, and nobody's seen anything. There was no reports of any practices going out with any like airlines or anything. And then in 1986, Japan Airlines saw the same thing when they flew over Alaska, but no one questioned it. Nobody knew. You know, they have the military, they have the government nearby, but nobody's doing anything about this orange light in the sky. You know, so these people, you know what? I'm gonna get a hold of the news stations. So they call the news station, they call the FFA. They even try to get a hold of the Pentagon. Nobody's doing anything about it at all. And like, why are they letting these, like, why are these entities, these extraterrestrial things, why are they letting us see them?
I have a story, a UFO story for in Germantown.
Go for it.
My cousin, when she was just young, not even, I don't think she said she was even 10 years old yet. They lived on EB Road.
I know exactly where that's at.
She said it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, and she goes, next thing you know, it was like the sun was out. And then it went out. It just went back to dark. Well, she said about 20 minutes later, all these military vehicles started coming. And they went around and went to all the houses that was around there at the time and said, "You did not see anything. You did not hear anything. It was all your imagination."
The Men in Black's
like,
real.
Yeah, she said that was both people that was considered, she would consider Men in Black and military. She said that she seen a truck pull into the woods because her mom and dad's old farm backed up into the woods where the hiking trails are for Five River Metro Parks.
Yeah.
Their farm, they used to hike back there. And she said that she went back there a couple years later and still found like pieces of metal or something that crashed there.
That's gold.
But the military, the military said that one of the lieutenants or somebody, one of the high-ranking officers, told my uncle, he goes, "You mention this to anybody, I will come back and kill your entire family."
Holy crap.
So yeah, another reason why I believe in.
And the crazy thing is, like, going back to the Atlas, the Alaskan,
Alaska?
yeah, the Alaskan UFOs, man. So what's crazy about this? The same thing happened a few weeks later in Alaska's North Pole. You know, this Christmas-themed town, dude. You know, it ain't Santa up in the sky. So this lady, a different lady, around a few weeks later, looked up and saw these orange balls in the sky. Well, these orange balls were attached to this ship, just hovering across the sky. So she was looking up, no sound, nothing. And with a blink of an eye, it was gone. Right? A week later, after, and she's lived in this part of Alaska all of her life. So a week later, right down the street, there was a communication tower built. You know, in certain parts of Alaska, there's only certain times that you can do any construction because of the weather temperatures. You know, when it's like negative 40 degrees, you cannot break the ground with anything. I mean, you can, but it's just they just don't do it. So why was this communication tower built when they say, well, there's nothing that we can do about it? But when they're putting up communication towers like that, what can you do about it? Why are you trying to communicate with something that you can't control? That's the thing. You know, I mean, guys, dude, we're not alone. We're not alone at all. And that's the scary thing. You know, why hasn't the military detected any of this, of the UFO? You know, I mean, this thing, like I said, I wrote down, like, she stood there for 6 minutes watching this thing in the sky, just floating there, no sound, nothing, and just within seconds, a millisecond, disappears.
Did anybody get any like videos of it or anything?
There are some like really crappy videos of it, but there's nothing to be like, you know what, that's a UFO. But that's the thing when it comes to people being skeptic. Everything that we see, Bigfoot, ghost, always filmed on a potato.
Yeah.
It's always filmed on a potato.
Always filmed on like some fucking like flip phone or
And that's the thing.
some other old like camera recorder or something.
Guys, we have cameras that on our phones that are better than some actual cameras out there that shoot in 4K, 5K. It's exactly creepy. 2024. Where's the evidence? Where's this at?
Have you ever heard of the LA?
I'm sorry.
Have you guys ever heard of the LA UFO?
The what?
The LA UFO.
No.
Los Angeles UFO. There's actually a picture of spotlights on this big, massive metal disc. And it's actually in a newspaper. And because they thought those get ready to get, I mean, there's spotlights from military hitting this metal disc back in the 40s or 50s. I forget which era. But yeah, it's a LA UFO, and it was actually in the newspapers and everything.
No, I have not. I seen the Las Vegas UFO, and that was pretty cool. I'm gonna see if I can try to find this video. Because dude, it's really crappy.
I think I got a picture, Arthur.
All right, send it.
Yeah, I can just share my screen.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know how to do all these.
Yeah, so
stuff.
that's basically what these people are seeing in the sky.
This was 6 years ago.
Okay, and that is so crazy.
It's all like right over the ocean.
Oh, and dude, I don't know why we're not fucking talking about this. Just last year, we supposedly shot down a freaking UFO from the sky.
Really?
In Alaska, and it was all over the freaking news. And this is what happened, like literally weeks later, the government released that aliens are real. And they did this during the time of the freaking the weather balloon they shot down, and then they shot down the UFO, and then the whole Biden bullshit that was going on with him. Everything was happening all at once, and nobody gave a shit about what the government's saying about the UFO that they shot down.
I think it's funny because it's always a weather balloon.
It's always a weather balloon. Well, that's because Japan and China is trying to invade us right now.
Yeah.
But
which would be bad because we got how many rednecks?
Too many.
Including me.
Too many.
Hey, there's not too many of us.
Oh, dude, that's basically all America right now.
I think we got just the right amount. We got just the right amount, on the dot.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Chaser rounds, it's over the ocean, and pack fleet is always out there. Could have been an exercise, and that I can believe with the orange balls in the skies. But explain the orange balls in the skies that stay still in Alaska. No sound.
Yeah, that's not tracer rounds.
No sounds, nothing. Now the picture that you posted, Jacob, I could probably see tracer rounds, 100%. And,
Yeah.
but when it comes to
Remember the
like
airships and
stuff,
all
but
that.
when it comes to, and like Brooklyn said, Area 51, they're hiding something, fellas. They're doing something wrong, and I don't know what it is, but I've got my tongue on it. I don't know why I'm talking like that.
So weird.
I'm very weird, but it's just pretty cool, and really interesting, and honestly, really scary. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie The Arrival, where these aliens come down and they just sit there. There ain't no reason for it, and they're all throughout the world at these certain locations. And these people go in these spaceships and they communicate with these beings, and they try to speak to them, and they speak back. But a lot of shit happens. A lot of stuff happens. We don't know why. And I think that's the reason why people talk about it. Because let's say you do see something. Ain't nobody gonna believe you. You can say that you've seen Bigfoot riding on a freaking spaceship with fucking, the Loveland frog monster. Nobody's going to believe you. Thank you, Brooklyn, so much for that.
Riding
Thank you so
Bigfoot.
much. Huh?
Or Jack Black riding Bigfoot.
Yeah, dude. Let's bring back Tenacious D, the Pick of Destiny. It's a thing, But if you actually see it, grab your phone. It's 4K. You can record it. And don't be guys, I see a UFO. Do you see it? No, I don't see it. Because you got fucking Tourette's or you're doing something wrong with your hand. Sit still. It's like when you try to watch people. What is it?
Say, calm down, Michael J. Fox.
I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, like calm down. It's like when you're watching people trying to fight on YouTube. Hold the phone still. I want to see this person knock out this person. So don't be like trying to get good camera angles. Just get up in there. Dude, like it pisses me off because there's so much.
I can tell.
Dude, I think this is why Andrew hates when I start talking about aliens. It's just like it blows me away of how like what's the word? How stupid. Dude, just grab your phone. Dude, use a stabilizer. Calm down. This is
I'm pretty
something.
sure I've got one.
Just
I've got a little stabilizer.
Just hold it. I mean, who's going to be holding around a stabilizer their whole time? I will. I have it in my back pocket. That does not look like a stabilizer, Jacob.
Well, it's like a thing you can you put your little phone on here.
Oh, it's like a gimmo.
Yeah, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man, because it's like when it comes to aliens and extraterrestrial and stuff, space is too big. Thank you so much for the rose. And we're way too small. And I think we're way too small. Dude, we just shot something to the moon. And they're saying by 2026 that they're going to send man to the moon so we can build a base so we can shoot from the moon to get closer to Mars. What? Okay. And then when they're like, yo, dude, back in the 70s, dude, we went to the moon. Rick, what's your opinion on the moon landing?
I believe it.
Fuck. I won't get into that then, because I am blown away of the technology that wasn't there. But that's I'm just like, there's just so much that happened during that time, which was funny. I did an episode with Andrew a few months ago, and I had him convinced for like maybe 3 minutes about this whole thing, and he even said it. He's like, well, maybe. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, oh shit, there it is. And then he's like, nah, dude, it's real. I'm like, it's whatever, it's okay. But no, when it comes to like aliens and stuff, man, dude, that's wild. And then the stories from Alaska, there's a whole series on Netflix. Oh, you guys are in my wheelhouse on Apollo 11. I did a show in that one. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just really skeptical. Russia and the U.S. was in a race to the moon. Yeah, and this is my conspiracy. So again, guys, if you get offended for what I'm about to say, so Russia and the Soviet Union and everybody, they were racing to the moon. All right. America's like, you know what? We got Hollywood. We got studios. We got this. So let's just say we went to the moon. And I understand there's video footage and stuff, but I'm just not physically convinced that we stepped foot on the moon. Now, if we go to the moon in 2026 like they're saying they are, I'll believe it in a way. And I'm just so skeptical about it. And then Creepy Confidential just says, if it took that much to try to cover up and say we went to the moon, we probably went. I don't know. I'm not saying it on live, guys. I'm not saying it. I would have keep it in my heart, right in Gene Simmons' head. I don't know.
Now speaking of UFOs and everything, have you guys heard of the Black Knight?
No.
It is I think a diamond-shaped black object that's been orbiting our Earth for I don't know how long, but they call it the Black Knight. And they don't. And none of the governments know what the hell it is.
Is it a? You know what? I think I've seen that. I think I've heard about the Black Knight.
But yeah, none of the no country's taking credit for it. They're like, it's not us. Well, it's not us.
Yeah.
And they don't know what the hell it is.
Now, I remember seeing some videos of people thinking that they seen a Black Knight when the astronaut is doing a spacewalk, and there's something floating in the background. And to clarify what this object is in the background, this was a piece of object that was on the space shuttle that was a part of a debris from the space shuttle that just basically just fell into orbit basically, and it just floats there. Now there are physical photos of this supposedly Black Knight. What are you laughing about?
Ethan just slammed his desk so hard.
He needs to get off Fortnite.
He's probably playing Rainbow Six Siege right now.
DD says, I'll say it. I'm not sure we landed there, but I'm sure we made it into space. Yeah, I can agree with that. But it's very questionable. Very questionable. Now, am I going to say it now? No. No, I'm not. Do I want to? I kind of do, but I want to see more proof. You know, because all these, the technology back in the day, yes, it was advanced, but not as advanced as it is today. And it's really skeptical in a way. And I don't believe in, like, the flag moving and stuff. And why don't you don't see the stars, dude. If you point your phone up to the sky right now or a camera, you're not going to see the stars. All right. Unless you have a real high definition camera. The same thing, like when you move an object, it's gonna wave in the wind. Not even in the wind, just wave in general. So it's that I believe in, but it's just, again, super skeptical, and I really want to believe it. I really do. And I know it's a part of our history, and Neil Armstrong was born and raised in our home state, just like really close to us.
Springboro.
Yeah, and I don't know, guys. I don't know, and I'm sorry for that. But when it comes to
Get it right, dude.
I know. Until I see it, man. Until I know, I probably won't. It's the same thing with like the paranormal. I'm like 80% sure that the paranormal is real. The other 20% I'm kind of skeptical about. But I believe in the paranormal more than I do. No, I believe in aliens more than I do with the paranormal, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I just believe in aliens. I think they're fucking awesome. The paranormal, man, I haven't really dug deep into the paranormal aspect of Alaska. I really want to touch base into it. And again, guys, this is why we're doing a few parts of this Alaskan episode. So we can dive deep, research, and figure out what is going on in Alaska. And I can't wait until we cover up all 50 states. I want to move to Antarctica when it comes to an episode, because there's some weird shit that happens there.
Oh, yeah.
Weird shit. Like, why can't we go there?
We
Unless
can
you're
do that after this Alaska series.
We can take a break from the States and then move up to Antarctica. But man, Antarctica is fucked, 100%. But I think with that being said, this is the end of Haunted Alaska Part 2. Even though we didn't really talk about the haunted aspect.
Part 2?
Part
Part
1.
one.
Sorry. Dude, my brain's still aliens right now. If I don't wake up tomorrow and I'm missing, dude, if I don't hear from anybody, guys ever seen Fire in the Sky?
Oh yeah.
I'm that's what's happening to me. I hope not, because that's a screwed up movie. But other than that, guys, I think we'll call it quits on the first part of Haunted Alaska. Even though we talked about Bigfoot and aliens the whole time, and me ranting, my heart's pounding a little bit. Sorry, guys. Do you guys have anything else to say before I throw this video on?
No. I'm good.
Well, Rick, dude, I appreciate you joining us tonight, man. I really do appreciate that. We'll get you up on here as much as we can. Definitely worked out well. Ethan's probably talking some smack in the background.
No, dude, he's throwing his entire room everywhere. It sounds like somebody lit a bull in the house out there, dude.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, again, guys, we are the 13th podcast. My name is Mortis, and this is Jacob, and this is our guest, Rick. And follow us on all major platforms, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Instagram, and check us out on TikTok. If you're watching us right now, thank you so much for watching. The people that sent us gifts, Brooklyn, thank you so much. Creepy Confidential, we will stay in touch. And you guys just stay spooky, stay classy. And again, guys, it ain't fun if it's not scary.
We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads